Hey y'all, what's going on? It's Athena Amoeba. Just stopping by today because I haven't posted in a while. Also, yeah, like, really, I've been struggling. Like, I feel like my whole life I've kind of been struggling, and I'm really trying to get away from struggle and learn how to, focus more positively and gain more stability. That being said, May was a really rough month. June was a really rough month. At the beginning, I thought it was going to be a little better, but it's just been really rough. That being said, I think that it's been with a purpose. And, where I live, there's been a lot of chaos. We saw a rat in the apartment this month. Some stuff happened with the neighbors that was just like absolutely insane. And it's just been rough. And we already knew that we wanted to move, but all of this stuff really validated and like not consolidated, that's not the right word, but it really confirmed that we want to move. And so we're going to move next month in July. And, my sister really put a good perspective on it. She said that maybe all this stuff is happening to make you guys move because it's time for you to move on to the next thing, on to something better. And I was like, you know what? That's true, because it literally just feels like one thing after another. Stuff just keeps happening. And maybe that's because the universe is trying to kick us out of this house so that we can move somewhere. That's not a house, but kick us out of where we live to find someplace better. And so if I think of it like that, it stops being stressful. It's not like, oh, this stuff just keeps happening and it's frustrating and I can't seem to have any peace of mind, and my home isn't a place that's really a home. It's not a place where I feel good or calm or regenerated or rejuvenated or anything like that. It's a place of chaos, which isn't good, which has been adding to a lot of the stress that I've had. But when my sister put it in that perspective, that maybe it's the universe calling us to something better, it made me feel good. It made me feel like, okay, well, my life is going to get better. And I've said this several times, and I will continue to say this, but we always overestimate what we can accomplish in 1 year and underestimate what we can accomplish in 5 years. I've been doing this YouTube channel for the last 2 years, and if I think back to 2 years ago, I was struggling with contract work. I was struggling with not having enough money. I had a great place to live, but it was really expensive. But if I think about the changes that I've made over the last 2 years, yeah, I'm not where I want to be yet, but I think I have to remember that you don't get to where you want to be in a flash, and it's hard to remember that. It's hard to feel that when you're in the struggle, when you're not where you want to be at the moment. It's hard to remember that it is literally a trip. It is literally a journey to get from where you are to where you want to be. And, you can't get from El Paso, Texas to San Diego, California in a second. You're going to have to go through New Mexico. You're going to have to go through Arizona. You're going to have to go through a lot of desert lands to get to San Diego. So if I think about where I'm going as a person, the ways that I want to grow as a person, the things that I want to accomplish as a person, the person that I want to be that I really haven't been. If I think about that person, I'm not just going to become that person overnight, but I think that I'm in the process of becoming that person still. And what I need to learn to do more is to enjoy the trip, because just because I'm not in San Diego yet, I mean, technically I live in San Diego, I'm just using the trip from El Paso to San Diego as an example. But yeah, just because I'm not where I want to be yet doesn't mean I'm not on the way. And the road along the way sometimes doesn't look anything like the end result, right? It's a desert landscape, and then all of a sudden you're at the beach. You know what I mean? So I think I just have to remember that. And if I think about it like that, I have made progress. Like, I have a job that I'm going to be celebrating my 1 year anniversary at in July. So in just a few weeks, actually next week, I'm celebrating my 1 year anniversary that I've been at this job. And it's been such a long time since I've had a stable, steady job that I've been able to keep for this long. So that in itself is something to celebrate. I've also, had benefits, and I've had things that I hadn't had for a really long time thanks to this job. So I've been stressed about it a little bit, but I think that's normal. All jobs are stressful. The thing that I'm stressed the most about with this job is the fear of losing it, and I haven't lost it so far. It's going to be a year. So if I can let that fear go and just focus on doing a good job, which is going to take some practice, right? Like, again, I can't just snap my fingers and lose that fear. But I can work on it. I can work on refocusing on what I can do, what is within my control, how can I contribute to this job that does give so much back to me, and stop stressing about if I'm going to lose it, because, my manager's always reassuring me. Not always. It's not like I'm always like, am I going to get fired? But sometimes I talk about, my statistics and how that makes me nervous. And he's like, you know what? We have a new way of measuring stats now. It's a little harder. This is the first time we've ever done it this way. Like, basically just reassuring me that I'm doing good. Just keep working on what I'm doing, right? So my fear isn't as valid as I think it is. So that being said, even that in itself is a huge shift from 2 years ago. I've had more money than I had 2 years ago, and now the next thing is going to be moving to a place that feels good. It feels good to come home to, that I have more space. It's not so cluttered. I even told my partner, when we move to the next place, I'm going to get a storage. I don't even care if it's bigger. I'm going to get a storage for the stuff that we don't really use because it feels so cluttered and we don't need all this stuff, right? It'll feel nicer just to have more open space. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm also looking forward to, we don't know where we're moving to yet, but I'm excited, and hopefully there's sidewalks there. Hopefully it's a nice area to walk around, because that's really not the case where we live right now. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to all of these changes, but I really just wanted to stop by to say I've been struggling, but that's okay. It's not actually okay to struggle, because I struggle because of my own mind. I struggle because of my perspective on things, and because I don't allow or trust the universe, I guess. Maybe that's what it is. But if I just sit back and trust the universe, I see that even when all this chaos is happening, it's because it's trying to push me into a better direction. And if I understand that and follow that and flow with that, instead of getting frustrated and focusing on what I wish was different, it's a much different experience. But I just have to stop by to say, just because you're not where you want to be at, just because you're not the person you want to be at, doesn't mean you're not on your way. Even if you feel like you've had setbacks, even if you feel like, you still feel so far from where you want to get to, you're on your way, okay? You're on your way. Just keep pointing in the direction of where you want to go to, and you will get there. And so, yeah, I'm excited to move. I think that's going to be a big, big, big game changer. I think that's going to help me set the stage to work more diligently on other things. The other thing that I've been going back and forth on, I want you to see where I work. Other thing that I've been going back and forth about is my weight loss, and I've talked about this before. I was really focused on it this year. I did a great job. I lost 15 pounds, but when you think about my body fat to lean mass percentage, I did really good. I crushed it, because it's not just about weight, it's about fat percentage to lean body mass percentage, and I did so good. And then I got stressed about where I was living. I got stressed about just stuff that was happening in my life. Literally, it's just one thing after another. I got stressed about work. I was just stressed, and I was coping with food, and I just kind of gave up and fell off the horse because I had no other way to cope. I was just trying to survive, and I was just trying to function as normally as possible. So to force myself to go to work every day and to force myself to do all of these things, I was just coping by eating. And so, I did take steps back in that, but moving, and hopefully moving to a nice place where I can actually walk around, would be amazing. So I think that will be a game changer for that. But before I even start focusing on weight loss again, I really, really want to focus on setting the groundwork internally. I still have a lot of work to do in terms of loving myself and accepting myself, and I'm still not really sure how to do that. But I know that needs to come, not first necessarily. I think this is another area where I get stuck in, is feeling like I need to do one thing before I can start on another. Yes, it's good to have that focus, but sometimes things can happen simultaneously. You can focus on your health and loving yourself at the same time. And those two things kind of do go hand in hand. But point is, like, I think I'll have an easier time losing weight once that inner peace is there, once that self-acceptance is there, once that self-love is there, because then I won't really need to use food as a coping mechanism, right? Because it's like, that's a symptom of what I'm feeling. It's not the cause of everything. It's a symptom. And it's kind of like a vicious cycle. But point is, what I know I need to focus on in the coming months is loving myself. You know, I wanted to get to that point by the time I turned 30, but that's asking a lot of myself. That's asking myself to delete essentially 30 years of experience and patterns of thought in a few months to prep myself for the rest of my life. Like, no, calm down. That's probably not how it's going to happen, but I can go into my 30s knowing that I deserve to love myself, knowing that I deserve to have the experiences that I want to have, and allow myself to have them, start pursuing them. I'm going to start reaching out to people I know who are doing some things that I would like to do, but I've been too scared to do, and ask them, like, how do I get started? How do I do this? So, I'll share more details on that once I start doing those things, but until then, here I am. I've been struggling, but life is getting better. If I think about the big picture, it's getting better. And if I think about where it was 5 years ago, I'm actually in a much better place than I was then. If I think about that, that makes me feel good. So I'll just have to focus on that. And thank you all for the love. I appreciate all of you. I did notice the comments from the last video. I should have brought that up first, but I will be paying attention to those comments. I will be making videos based on those comments, but this is just what I was really feeling right now. Oh, also my phone's broken. I have to go get that fixed tomorrow, so that's why I'm using my laptop. Can't use my phone to vlog anything until I fix it, but, you know, everything will fall into place, and, thanks for the love, sending love right back to you, and I hope you have a great weekend.